Hello, and welcome back to Jenna Gets Creative. Today we are doing the colors of the month for July. As some of you may know, this used to be Copic colors, the Copic Colors Monthly Challenge, but to the makers of Copic over in Japan, they cancelled their contract with Imagination Inc., so they are no longer able to specifically do Copics. Universe of Markers is their new name. Their website is Marker Universe. Don't ask me why they've got both going on. And they've changed it to Colors of the Month, and they have several brands that they do. So for July, they want us to go bold. They have assigned us a bright, deep purple, a pale purple, and a fuchsia. So for Copic, they specifically want us to use BV04, BV01, and RV14. I will put them up on the screen with the actual color names. I didn't write that down. Since they can't sell Copic, they're not really pushing the Copic part. For alternate colors, they did give us HEX Codes. I will have that down in the description below. I'm not reading out HEX Codes. For graphi'it markers, which is an interesting brand from France, they want you to use Lavender, Rose Quartz, and Aqua. Aqua's kind of a weird color name for a purple, but apparently it is. For Winsor & Newton, they want us to use Violet, Magenta, and Lilac. Now, Violet in Winsor & Newton only comes in Promarker, which is the bullet nib, so I don't have it. I do have Magenta and Lilac. I am replacing the Spectra AD Violet instead. And if you want to use Winsor & Newton's watercolor, they do have a violet and a magenta shade. I will have the exact color names listed down below, and you're just supposed to water down that violet to get the lighter violet. So, yeah. Very interesting. I'm going to do a piece inspired by the color names. Now, we have violet, we have lilac, and although this one specifically is magenta, they did in general say that we are using fuchsia, so lilac, violet, fuchsia. The colors selected for this month are all names of flowering plant families, so I thought it would be cool to do something with that. Violet encompasses as many as 600 species of annual and perennial flowers and a few shrubs as well, including wild and domestic violets and violas, and the larger flowered pansies, which are a personal favorite of mine. Despite the name, not all of the flowers in this group are purple, but many are. Lilac is a common name of a species of shrubs and small trees in the olive family, which produces groups of small tubular flowers that are usually a pale purple, lilac or mauve, or occasionally white in color. Fuchsia is a genus of flowering shrubs and trees first discovered on the island of Hispaniola, and some of the shrub species are also among my favorite flowers. These plants produce tubular flowers as well, mostly also in groups, and typically these flowers bloom downward. There's always a brilliant pink color involved, hence the name fuchsia, though some species will also have a deep purple or a white secondary color. My favorites are the shorter blossoms with the purple inner layer. So off I went, sketching various species of each of these plants in my sketchbook so I would have a good variety of references on hand. When I was done, I figured I would draw something recognizable, but made entirely out of these flowers. I went over to Pixabay and just started browsing recent photo uploads, and a photo of the Eiffel Tower caught my eye. Thus, here I am, creating the piece I affectionately call Eiffel Flowers. I picked the Eiffel Tower for more than just the iconic shape to use in this piece, though. There's an interesting copyright issue associated with the Eiffel Tower, and I figured that artistic and photographic copyrights would be a good talking point for this video. By the way, if you're new here, please do subscribe and ring the bell for notifications. I upload every Tuesday and Thursday at minimum, and sometimes I have bonus videos. I did a bonus just last week, in fact. Did you see it? Probably not, because YouTube analytics seems to be telling me that people were far too busy celebrating Canada Day and the 4th of July last week to tune in, but I did discuss both of those holidays and did some really cool art. So I'd love it if you would go check those out after. And if you like this video, don't forget to hit the like button and leave a comment down below. I love reading your comments, and I do reply to everyone. I'd love to hear your thoughts on the topic I'm about to discuss. Let's start basic. Copyright refers to the laws that protect the creator or owner of something unique or distinct. An artist holds the copyright to the artworks he or she creates, unless those rights are signed away to a buyer or licensed to a company, and these rights protect the work from being copied without permission. Similarly, the copyright holder of a photograph is, by default, the photographer, the person who took the photo. Or in some cases, the animal that took the photo. Look up the monkey selfie copyright dispute. Copyrights expire after a certain time frame depending on the country the copyright holder is from. Usually this is between 50 and 100 years after the holder's death. When copyright is held by a company rather than an individual, they can essentially hold the copyright forever. Think Disney. Copyrights can be transferred to another party by agreement or sale, or the original copyright holder can waive some or all of their rights. Things that are in the public domain have no copyright. This includes all works for which the copyright is expired, and all works where the original copyright holder chose to give up their rights completely. Another form of waived rights is Creative Commons, where the rights holder releases their work for use and transformative works either to private individuals, commercial parties, or both, usually under an attribution or share and share alike clause. The website I mentioned earlier, Pixabay, is an image sharing website where everything uploaded is released by the uploader under a Creative Commons license. Not sponsored, by the way. For artists who work from photo references, something that I strongly encourage, photographer copyright is a very important thing to understand. If you don't have specific permission from the photographer of the photo you're referencing, then you should be using photos that are released under something like a Creative Commons license or photos that are in the public domain. If you use a copyrighted photo without permission, the photographer can come after you when you share your work if they see it. If you're sharing your work anywhere online, they can find it. If you're selling the piece and your buyer shares it online, they can find it. Similarly, be careful when doing fan art. Some companies, like Disney, really don't want anybody making money off their characters. If you're just doing fan art for your own sake and sharing it but not earning anything from it, you're probably fine. If you're a popular print artist and you're selling prints of your Disney fan art, the mouse might be after your pocketbook. Where does the Eiffel Tower come into this topic, you ask? There's a provision in copyright laws in most jurisdictions, known in English as freedom of panorama. This means that although permanent and semi-permanent physical items in public spaces, such as buildings, statues, sculptures, murals, etc., might have a copyright that is owned by an individual, an architectural firm, or whatever, because it's in a public space and unavoidable due to its permanence, no copyright infringement is committed by taking photographs or filming those objects. France doesn't have a provision like this, which means new art, in terms of copyright lifespans, cannot legally be photographed or filmed without permission from the copyright holder. In the case of the Eiffel Tower, although the original architect's copyright on the tower itself is expired, the lighting on the tower is not. This means nighttime photos and films depicting the tower lit up are copyright infringement. The more you know, hey?